Hey, yo, 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 you know what's up. We're here. We're here for a reason. We're here with Curtis Mitchell Fujita, Patrick Lugo, and we are going to be talking about A Tiger's Tale, which only has about 37 minutes left. So you can forget about all the commercials and all that crap. We're getting right down to this. Let me introduce you guys. What's happening?
Hello, hello.
Greetings, Pops. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
And Curtis.
Yeah, thank you
hey.
Good to
Oh,
see you, Curtis, again.
again.
look, I never saw you guys until a couple days ago. Like, where did these guys come from? Because this is what I do. I promote indie comics, and anytime I see something like this, I'm just like, yeah, I gotta get you guys out on the show. So introduce yourselves, give everybody a little short synopsis, and then we will get right into this book before it's over.
Sure. Go for it, Patrick. Why don't you go first?
All right, well, I'm Patrick Lugo, also known as Plugo Online. Former art director for Kung Fu Magazine for over 20 years. I'm also a illustrator, author, comic artist, and I've just launched my very first Kickstarter campaign. It's called A Tiger's Tale. And it's a project I've had with me for ages, and I'm just so excited to bring it to a whole new generation of readers.
Cool. And Curtis.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Kurtis Fujita. Started out in comic books back in the mid 90s at Malibu Comics when I was in high school. Did some editing, coloring, went into video games, did that, and then became a Kung Fu master somewhere along the road of the last couple decades.
Wow.
And then came back to comic books. I'm doing this creative director for Silverline Comics right now, independent publisher.
With Roland.
Yeah, Roland was my boss back in the day, and he's my boss now. So some things never change. And then I'm combining both my passions of martial arts and comic books in the forthcoming comic book called Shadow Ghost. It's the Kung Fu comic by a Kung Fu master, and then we both host the Comics Fu show. So that's me, that's Patrick, that's us.
Cool. Well, I want to cover all of it, but let's concentrate on A Tiger's Tale till it's over, Definitely. And then we'll move on to the website and the show that you guys do. We'll cover everything, man, because people need to know. All right. Good stuff. What's up? Good stuff. We got some other people that run shows right here in the chat now watching. So, some people you can look up next time when you're doing this during your campaign. Some more shows to be on.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean, this whole campaign has been there's been such a strong improvisational aspect to it. So even though I planned certain parts of it really meticulously, it kind of took a life of its own. Like, for example, I spent yesterday my final Tiger Tuesday, right? I've been counting off this campaign based on the Tuesdays that the Tiger's Tale campaign has had. But so the final Tiger Tuesday was an 8-hour marathon live stream where I was painting the cover that'll be used for the comic when it comes out, but also having various Kung Fu masters such as Kurtis join me online to discuss Kung Fu, comics, philosophy, Zen flute, tea, also, I mean, Swamp Thing as well was mentioned amongst others. What was it? We talked about public domain superheroes,
right?
But it all stemmed around having these conversations while also working on this project, which has been so much of what I've been working on for this campaign.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of an anthology with over 20 other people. I know what you're talking about. Every conversation turns into just a reminisce fest about old time comics and just everything. It's like, because 20 people, you got all different backgrounds. It's like everybody's journey to where we're at is different. I mean, trust me, I'm a comic books fan. If you told me 2 months ago that I was going to be involved in doing a campaign, I'd laughed at you. Because when they came to me and tried to drag me into this, I was like, no. This is what I do. I talk about comics. I promote comics. I love comics. This is my life now. So We need to get people familiar with this one before it's over. You guys got a half hour, 30 minutes. So do you want to play the video first and then scroll down through it, or how do you want to roll this?
Sure, that'd be fine by me if you want to. I worked on that video so many times. I made so many cuts on it. I can definitely watch it one more time. So. Hi, I'm Lugo, author, illustrator, comic creator, and the art director for Kung Fu Magazine for more than 20 years. But I'm here to talk to you about a project that's really special to me. It's the middle grade graphic novel, A Tiger's Tale. Imagine The Jungle Book meets Kung Fu, but this isn't just a story of talking animals and fight scenes. This comic goes deeper. It started in the pages of Kung Fu Magazine, and in that time, I've worked with Kung Fu masters, trying to collect their folklore and their creation myths and a lot of their philosophical tidbits. And I've taken all of those lessons and embedded that into the story of A Tiger's Tale. Now, this project was completed a few years ago as a black and white graphic novel, yin and yang, black and white. But after some research and meditation, I've realized that to bring it to Kickstarter, what I really want to do is color it to make it even more appealing for the young readers that I have in mind for this book. You see, it's a story about finding one's place in the world, and I think it'll be ideal for any young martial artist starting on their journey. But don't be fooled. It's going to be entertaining for anyone who reads it, and the art, I think, is going to look gorgeous. Added to that, I'm going to have a bunch of back matter, glossary, index, how-to pages, essays, some of which you can even read now at atigerstale.com. This project is really important to me, and as a result, I've included a lot of really interesting reward tiers, mini comics, stickers, but also some gallery pieces and original art. But one of the reward tiers I'm really most excited about is a variant cover by world-renowned Taoist Kung Fu master Tu Jin Chang. I can go on about Grandmaster Tu. In fact, I'll do another video specifically about him down below. But before that, let me tell you this other thing. I have set aside a few pages so that backers can witness the coloring process as it happens. So please join me on this artistic journey. I think it'll be unique.
All right. Next time. Next time you got to tell me about this ahead of time. Seriously, man, I would love to have been able to promote this through the whole campaign.
Well, you know what? I've been thinking a lot about it, and I suspect that there's going to be a volume 2 in the very near future. So,
Nice.
so let me just put that out there right now.
Yeah, well, everybody in the chat's loving this. So, like I said, man, I'm really bummed out that I didn't find this until so recently, because I'd have been promoting it like there's no tomorrow. This is I know so many people that are into this kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, that's music to my ears, and I can't think of a better circumstances to be here now so that you could be here for that final moment, because it's just, sometimes things happen when they happen. Help me out here, Kurtis. Throw me a philosophical lifeline.
It's serendipity, right? Is that we're here right now at this moment to conclude the campaigns. I'm with you on that. And just much respect to Pops, what he does to promote, and on Facebook and everywhere, and it's like it always fosters this open community. Whenever I share stuff, I'm a little trepidatious in some groups, but whenever I go to Pop's group, it's kind of like, okay, I feel comfortable. It's a positive environment.
Drop all the links you want, man. That's the whole purpose of the group, is to get everybody seen, and I tell everybody, it's like sometimes that feed goes really fast, and if you dropped a link yesterday, it's gone.
Yeah.
Do it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what the group's about. It's about promotion, networking, everybody finding, like if you need a editor or something, you go to Madness. Hey, I need an editor. You'll find one. It's about networking and promotion. Now we should go ahead and run through these real quick. I want to kind of run through the tiers as we're going down, but this is the last deluxe gallery print. I'm assuming that's why it says last one.
It is. I was actually looking for something else when I found this particular print in the flat file. I thought I had only one left, which had been snatched up before I could even post the graphic for it, because Tiger's Tales has been around long enough that the artwork has been featured in local gallery shows.
Right.
So, before I could even post the graphic, it was snatched up. And then, just the other day, I found another copy of it just in a flat file. I was looking for something else, and I was like, finally, I could post it. So I had to get it out there ASAP.
Oh, there's some faces there, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I mean, Kurtis. There's some. We all know Bruce Lee, but there are a few other titans in those little thumbnails, and I feel so glad that I got to work on each one of those covers that I'm showing there. So,
dude, great stuff. This is amazing. And I just so you know, I'm very broke, but I still threw a little something at you because I want to see you get to 100 backers. So you guys watching? This thing's close. 92 backers. Everybody deserves 100 backers. You guys know what's up. You guys know.
I'm also content with round number or interesting numbers like 88 and 99. For me, there's like such a symmetry in those kinds of things.
Okay, 99 I'll go with.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you were at 92 when we started the show. I'd really love to see you guys get a few more. That's why we do this. Shadowhawk, what's up? Good people in the chat.
I'm so thrilled. Like I recognize a few names on the chat, and I'm great to see some returning friends. And then I'm really thrilled to be seeing so many new names.
Yeah, well, we have a pretty diverse audience. I like to say.
That's great news.
Come from everywhere, man. It's wonderful. But yeah, let's now. Oh, hold up. Keeping it tight, Patrick. Clear and succinct. Your communication gong fu is becoming more powerful. I love it.
That's been part of the mission for this campaign, because to me it's more than just getting a comic out there. I wanted to try and really be a bridge for some of the more obscure parts of what I've learned working for Kung Fu Magazine for so long. And one such example is how Kung Fu can be expressed in more than just your ability to fight.
Right.
And so communication Kung Fu, tea Kung Fu, painting Kung Fu, right? It's all Kung Fu, as one of my guests on Tiger Talk once told me.
And this is the other thing we're going to cover. These guys have a show. I'm sure they have a multitude of interesting guests. My God. Okay, look, am I going to have to go watch a whole bunch of past episodes? Is that what's about to happen here?
You don't have to do it right now, but there's a few 30-minute episodes. There's a few 15-minute episodes. There's a few really sweet little sound bites that are just like a minute long, where
nice.
One of our, one of the masters I was fortunate enough to interview talked about growing up with a father who was a Kung Fu master, and the name Bruce Lee was dropped in the conversation. There's context, but
Okay, here we go. So I have to go follow Technomage too, right? I got to subscribe to his channel too. All right, I got you. See, this is what this is all about. It's networking. It's bouncing fan bases off of each other. This is how everybody's fan base increases. You got Greg Levitt in the chat, who has a book called Gun Demon. You got Rex in the chat with his ash can. Then you guys, okay, now that's 3 different possibilities of fan bases bouncing off each other. You see what I'm saying? This is what it's all about. And we always have amazing people in the chat that just drop links everywhere, Now, because it's at the end, it's not like they can go to the next show and be dropping your link, but the next time you guys launch a book, next time you set up your sign up page, you let me know so we can start pumping it, man. Because these guys do it. All these guys do the same thing I do. You know,
I love the title Gun Demon. I think that's fantastic, and I think this is a great chance to mention how Kurtis and I have moved around similar circles for so long, and I'm just so thrilled that we're like those circles are getting tighter and tighter. As exampled by the show, but also one of the recent stretch goals that we just hit was a little extra comic that we're going to include. There it is. It's the Crazy 88 stretch goal. Once we hit 88 comics, I put together a little anthology that we're calling the Comics Fu Reader, and it's going to feature comics, Kung Fu theme, but they're created by Kung Fu practitioner, with the first among them being Kurtis, giving us a sneak preview of his own comic, which is coming to Kickstarter any minute now, and that's called Shadow Ghost.
Yeah, so I got that one pulled up too. We're going to talk about this one right after this one.
Yes, well, what I love is that thanks to Kurtis and the participation of a few other martial artists that I know who are also putting out their own comics works, we have this little ash can that we're putting together that's going to be like in every package that I mail. So anyone who I'm sending a package to through this Kickstarter campaign is going to get an extra comic that's going to show them some other martial artists doing their thing. And some of it is going to, my comic is very much like Kung Fu fantasy, mythology, drama. But these others are going to be like espionage and urban action and just different takes on Kung Fu, because what was I saying earlier? It's all Kung Fu, and there just like there are different styles, there are different ways for it to be busted out. So the Crazy 88 stretch goal was something that I was really satisfied to meet, as was this silver and black sticker I'm really excited on. So, and once again, everyone gets one in their package now, because we met it. And it's one of the guests I had on Tiger's Talk was really going off on the Kung Fu power of black and silver. So we needed that for this year.
Nice.
Ooh.
And then the first stretch goal, which happened like overnight, was adding more pages. I was shocked. We met our funding goal in about 18 hours. Had no idea we'd do that. And ever since, it's just been going strong. The community has been tight, but so passionate, and it just blows me away every time I think of it.
Now, this is some of the interior art, correct?
Yes. So what I wanted to do, I originally completed it as a black and white piece. So that's what I mean when I talk about black and white art. But then I figured out a way to add color into the comic, and I wanted to do that in a special way so that the color helps add to the story. So if you scroll down a few more pages, you'll see how I kind of bring color into the sequence.
Oh, we can't go by this too fast.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Dragons. Let me also point out this dragon that I wear in everything that I've appeared in, even that Kickstarter video, right? It's my lucky first dragon, right? This dragon was part of a splash page spread I did in my first indie comic in the 90s, and now it's a t-shirt. It goes with me everywhere I go.
It's beautiful.
Dragons are lucky for me. It's this crazy thing. Even though we are Year of the Tiger, right? The Lunar New Year has just
yeah. Well, I've always been a fan of dragons myself, so.
Oh, it's good to have them on your side, right?
Yes, it's much better than to be on the bad side of it. Man, this is beautiful.
So yeah, I think if for those who were paying close attention to the Kickstarter video, they'll have noticed that dragon in color. So once again, I'm just trying to lead people along to give them ideas of how the color will be a bigger and bigger part of the story.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, looks great.
Leaping from the pages of Kung Fu magazine. All right, so up here you had this pledge $5 or more, this red envelope, this what we like to call a virtual bow.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. I built this campaign around the transition into the Lunar New Year, it becoming the year of the tiger, the title of the comic being A Tiger's Tale. The two are just so, there's a reason why they're connected. And one of the traditions of celebrating the Lunar New Year is the red envelope. I actually reached out to a bunch of printers, but I couldn't find any printers in the US that could actually print like a red envelope with the gold foil. Although, ironically enough, DC Comics just did it for their variant cover, but I guess you got to be DC Comics to pull that off.
actually, I mean, when you consider how many people that I know that use printers, I know a lot of printers. I'm just saying. I added 3 to my list today. Just today, I added 3 printers to my list to throw out there because of paper shortages and all the stuff that's going on. It's like people need more options. So I'm looking for try to help people in any way I can. So there it is. I'm looking for new printers. You never know what you can find, man. Is
Well,
is it? Wait a minute. Will you have a black and white only version as well, or is it just the transition to color?
I've included one of the aspects that I've included in one of the special features. I have an add-on that's called the digital special features, and that's gonna have a bunch of behind the scenes stuff. It's gonna have like time lapse footage that I've accrued creating the artwork. It's gonna have some essays based on some of the theory going on behind how I constructed either the art or the story. It'll have some videos and some historical pieces. And so I think one of those elements will be the black and white version in PDF.
Right.
There was there was one time when I did a version that was the whole story before I did any lettering, and I called that a silent meditation. Here, what you have is the painting that I've been working on for the cover. I spent all of yesterday on a live stream painting this, and I'm just waiting for the last few details. They say that when you do paintings like this, you should leave the eyes for last because when they wake up, if you're still working on them, you might get bitten. That's at least one of the painter masters who's talked to me has mentioned such things.
This makes sense. This makes a lot of sense. Look, I had a friend of mine draw me as Odin.
Yes.
Now during okay, I can even show it to you. Hold on. Now during this process, the artist got
Oh,
a
that's cool.
really bad eye infection in his right eye,
Wow.
and he couldn't work on it for like 3 weeks.
Wow.
But you'll notice it's like in the runes on the hammer. It's got my last name.
That is so cool.
It's cool.
That I was just discussing runes earlier today with none other than Technomage 116.
Nice.
So it just goes to show that this has been kind of a kung fu journey in and of itself, and I feel like I've made it from one mountain up to a new mountaintop where I'm getting to meet you and this whole new vista. So
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Once the fan bases start bouncing off each other, it's like everybody grows, everybody benefits from it. What's up, Nefarious? What's happening? Another friend of mine that runs a show called Global Frequency. Um,
yeah,
like I'm saying, you guys, when you drop this Shadow Ghost, you're gonna get a few more places to go promote. I
That's cool.
promise you that.
that's so great. Well, one thing I've been playing around with when I started developing A Tiger's Tale, I created its website. It's called atigerstale.com. And I've been calling that like an online version of the Kung Fu Forest. There's a metaphor in Kung Fu that talks about the Kung Fu Forest. It's called the Wu Lin, and it has to do with like the community that grows around martial arts and martial artists. And so
Definitely.
I think there's just like community is just an inherent part of what these things are about, and it's part of the spirit of this comic.
I'm digging it. I'll tell you what. I'm like I said, I'm a broke ass. Everybody in the chat knows it, but I sent you a red letter, brother. You know.
I appreciate that. And I have my philosophy is even a share counts as support, So I mean,
yeah, but I mean that's that. I saw the red letter and I was like, oh, that's perfect. It's just a little, hey yo.
Yeah, well, gongshi, gongshi.
You know what's up. Dude, there's so much here to look at, though. We got stuff to look at.
Well, yeah, so like there's one of the mini comics I'll be including, and then it's about a ghost hunter. I sent this to Kurtis ages ago when we were first just getting to know each other.
Yeah, they call him the Chinese Ghostbuster. Is what I've heard it translated as a few times.
Yes, exactly. So that's one tier where it'll include the main graphic novel and some more scarier stories that I've worked on.
Cool, right?
Because $30. I'm going for young readers, but I was young and I liked the scary stuff when I was a kid, so I think there are others who like it. Yeah. And then Kurtis, we were talking about this last night. Master, what how would you sum up Master 2 in a sentence?
Well, majestic. I mean, he's one of the esteemed grand masters in our martial world. So yeah, he's phenomenal. Thank you.
Neff knows what's up. He sees a good book. He knows what's up.
I love that logo. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's actually his dwarf from Dwarfs versus Lions or something. I don't know.
I like it.
Look at that. I see the time, and it is 6:26, right? And when I launched the campaign at 6:36. January 31st. So even though it's been a 30-day campaign, it spanned 3 months, which I think is another one of the things that makes it kind of unique in the way it's like how a tiger stripes are unique, right? It's kind of just a unique thing, at least to me. But
yeah,
that might be a lack of sleep speaking as well.
Look, you seen this art right now? Oh my God, look at that. Beautiful stuff.
Great.
Beautiful. And then we're down here in the tiers. All right, so $40 tier we was talking about. Then we got the $60 tier, the deluxe sketch variant.
That's right. So here's an example of one, right? So I'll print a few that I'll leave blank, and then I'll draw something. I'll take the brush to it and paint the tiger or one of the characters in there. And if I have the chance, right, the reason why I only have a few of those set aside is because I want to kind of take a chance to get to know who I'm sending it to, so that it's not just some drawing that I whip off, but it's something that's a little bit more for them specifically. I want this to be very much about connecting with the readers, the people who are a part of it. It should be a dialogue.
There is a Monkey Shines exclusive creator consult as well.
Right. So Monkey Shines is this crazy Long Island-based nonprofit that I contribute cover art to. I've been doing so for a year, and they're just a nonprofit devoted to getting artists' voices heard. And they have a website. They print a quarterly magazine, and so I want to kind of lend some of my experience to those people who are also young artists getting their stuff out there.
Yes, definitely. Lots of good stuff here, guys. Only a few more minutes. You got to go jump. You got to jump.
I know, the 10-minute. Who's gonna come in at the last minute and be that hero who shows up?
Look at that big.
Yes, you know what? I have it up there on my wall still. This was one of the centerpieces from some of the gallery shows that I would present here in the San Francisco Bay Area when they would do like children's illustrator shows.
He got that too.
I was surprised. I was surprised.
Good stuff. Yeah, now I'm looking forward to Shadow Ghost. Seriously. We just had that one the whole time. Yes. Dude, I like it. Good stuff, man.
Well, the thing that I really appreciate is that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kurtis, but I feel like Shadow Ghost and A Tiger's Tale have a yin-yang quality in that, my comic, even though it's kung fu, it's it's philosophical. It's got talking animals. It's got dragons and mythical creatures. Whereas from what I've seen of Shadow Ghost, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a little bit more concrete and street level, maybe.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. A little bit on the opposite side of the spectrum, but still the philosophy and stuff is in there.
Indeed.
Like that, but yeah, no, but Patrick, just big congratulations. I mean, I'm just so happy for how this campaign turned out. I'm excited because I backed it too, and as a kung fu teacher, I feel awkward sometimes saying master because that seems presumptuous, but as a kung fu instructor, Patrick is part of a very small group of people that have kind of been the journalists, I should say, for our community. And he's an encyclopedia of knowledge. He's met almost everybody in the community and documented what we do. And I kind of feel like Tiger's Tail is just an extension of that experience. And you just did a great job. So congratulations. It's great.
Dude, I can't imagine having been in some of the circles you guys have been in. That's all I'm going to say. Because, I mean, some of those guys are my heroes. I'm pretty old. Okay. I was around when some of those guys were around. Okay. And, yeah, I was a very impressionable teenager in 76, in 77, in 78. It was like when all leading up to the death of Bruce Lee was like, for me, that was one of my heroes got taken away real quick. And I didn't even have enough time I don't even think I had seen everything he had done and he was gone. I mean, I was 13, right? I don't even think I had the chance to see everything and he was gone. It was like, this sucks. So then you go looking for everything you can find, every bit of footage, that you can find and you fanboy on all that stuff,
I mean, Bruce Lee was singular and he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was just around for that small bit of time is everyone's loss, kind of. But I mean, we're still benefiting from some of the stuff that he was putting out there, to this day.
And then just so much strange stuff, so many questions, unanswered questions or quasi-answered questions, however you want to look at it, about him and his son, the whole legacy, but sometimes I really like to get into some of that stuff with you guys. But now people got to back this book.
We had a term for that over at the Kung Fu magazine. We would call that incense smoke and feng shui mirrors.
I like that.
That's awesome because, well, my incense smoke ain't exactly incense, but you know what I'm saying.
It's a very handy cover story.
As long as it's the right type, right?
All right, 3 minutes. Anybody watching, if you want to get down like Neff did, you know what to do. Hit that button. Come on, 99. He said he liked the number 99. Let's go get it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun one. But you know what? I'm thinking in these final minutes, what I'm going to do here is, since we have the little screen, I'll add his eyes, and that'll be like the culmination of the last minute of this adventure. Will be like
cool.
His eyes kicking in. So I mean, we still got a few minutes. It's 6:33, so we have 3 minutes.
Yep.
That can be a very long time or a very short amount of time.
It's 2 minutes now. That's how short it is.
Oh man. Cool. I've got 1 minute for each eye.
All right.
So that's actually incredibly luxurious when you think about it. But Kirk can also commiserate, right? You've been putting a lot of hours in to get your art ready.
Oh yeah. It's a process. It's kind of one of those things that kind of harken back to the martial arts training, where at some point you just give into the experience and try not to worry so much about the goal and just kind of the process, right? Oh, that looks great, Patrick. Look at that.
It's and the thing is that even though I've made quite a living doing digital art. I have all of the valuable technology back there behind me. There's just something special about still having the paintbrush and the water and just the crinkling piece of paper. And
Yeah.
it's my own form of Zen meditation to kind of try and do these things.
It's counting seconds now, bud. It's counting the seconds.
Is it? That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Wow, 6:35. I'm just in awe. I'm checking all of my various bits of technology while at the same time, playing with water and a paintbrush. It's absurd.
All right, less than a minute. Anybody that wants to get in, do it real
Last
quick.
chance, yo. Last chance.
Yeah.
Tiger's Tail, Volume 1. And yeah, this looked excellent. And we're gonna go right into talking about the Kurtis's book too. So don't go away when this countdown goes down, because we got one more to cover, one that's coming.
6:36. It looks like. I'm checking my dashboard here live. I've got every piece of technology active right now. It's absurd.
Okay, I got 15.
All right. And down to
10,
10,
9, 8, 7, 6,
6,
5,
5.
4, 3, 2. You can see. Boom!
Boom.
Excellent.
Wow, thank you for being a part of this. I'm in awe.
Excellent.
So cool.
Thank you guys for coming out here at the last minute and joining me and letting me get to know you guys. But we're not done. We're not done, because there's this other thing that what is it? It's Shadow Ghost.
Yeah.
And you sent me a link for this one too, so we're gonna pull this one up.
All right.
Very
cool.
This. Go ahead and tell everybody what we're looking at or direct me where to go.
Sure. So, this is the landing page of the website. So this is my comic book, upcoming comic book by Silverline, published by Silverline, called Shadow Ghost. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm a Kung Fu instructor. I've been doing this for about a little over 25 years now, martial arts. So, and I teach Kung Fu. I have a school, and so it's called the Kung Fu Comic by a Kung Fu Master. And I'm doing the whole thing myself, from script to pencils to inks to letters to colors, the whole 9 yards. So
Wow.
So it's literally from the hand of somebody who does the martial arts is the same person doing the actual book. Every piece up and down for the whole first issue.
Just tell me you're letting Patrick edit it.
Definitely.
I have complete trust in Curtis's.
That's not why you have an editor. You have an editor so that you have an outside set of eyes looking at it.
Yeah, well,
checking the flow from a fan's point of view, going, "Hey, man, this kind of doesn't flow or doesn't fit together. Can you help that flow better?" They don't come out and try to change your story. That it's all about flow, errors, that kind of stuff.
Sure, definitely, and like I was mentioning, I started out my comic book career with Roland Mann back in the Malibu days, and Roland actually kind of did some consulting on this at the early stages. So he definitely helped out there.
Roland's been on the show quite a few times.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of the Silverline people out here at different stages during different campaigns. So that's good to have, some mutual contacts already, because I'll be like, "Hey, Roland, what's up with Kurtis? Get him out here." I got pulled like that.
Definitely. You're connected and respected. I get that.
I'm trying to get there, man. It's like 2 years ago, I was a comic fan, period. My group had about 200 people, 300, 400 people maybe. And all we used to do is come out and go, "Look what I got today." Okay, that was what the group was. And COVID, when it shut everything down, when Emerald City went down, it was like I had all these friends who were like, my whole summer of income is gone.
Yeah.
No tables to set up, nowhere. People that go to every con or a con every other weekend or every weekend, right? That's their income.
Yeah.
Nothing. They got shut down. And all I could do was think, how can I help people? And I'm friends with Brian Polito, and I asked him what he was going to do because he had shipped, pallets of stuff up to Seattle for Emerald City Con.
Wow.
I'm like, what are you going to do, Brian? And he's, I'll just ship it all home and have a sale this weekend on my Facebook and on my YouTube channel, whatever. And it was like, yeah, that's cool, but what about everybody else that doesn't have a 5,000 fan base, ready to buy your stuff right now? What about everybody else? And that's how CromCon was born, and that's how I started doing these promotional shows. I didn't have a YouTube. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I'm serious. I didn't know StreamYard. I didn't know anything.
That's great. That's
needed help. That was all I knew. My friends needed a place to show what they had for sale, so maybe they could sell some and make a little bit of money. And here we are, a couple of years later.
Yeah, I would call that the call to heroism.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely, like, for me, it was life-changing. Okay? Put me in a totally different direction of what I was doing. Totally changed up my whole, what little plan I had. Gave me a direction. It was something I needed. Okay?
It sounds like a kung fu movie plot to me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Curtis?
I think so. It sounds like a legend being born. It's no, but that's great. I mean, I think when when everything kind of hit for all of us, it was talk about a moment for reflection, and then I think quite a few of us, were able to kind of transition into something and kind of realign ourselves with the things that are important to us.
Exactly.
And you kind of say you're a comic book fan, but that's not something to be downplayed, because anybody worth their salt that's ever worked in comics or been in comics started out as a comic book fan, and anybody that stayed in it is still a comic book fan.
Yeah.
So it's tremendous.
It's like I don't know if you guys have seen this guy right here.
Yeah.
Okay. He was created as the comic related Madness logo.
Yeah.
He wasn't created to be a comic book character. That logo right there won the comic related Madness logo contest. The guy who drew that was drawing a logo. He was not drawing a comic book character or in any way creating a comic book character. Now we have a comic book character.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like so many people had drawn different renditions of the little green guy that somebody dragged me off to decide and said, you have to do something with this. So that's how I got dragged into it. It's like the promotional aspect of it for me, though, that was the thing. I was able to do something helping people. And during a time when people actually really needed platform, they're, like I said, they didn't have shows to go to. So I was trying to really do something to help people, something I probably haven't done enough of in my life, maybe doing a little makeup for all that too. You know what I mean? When something reaches out and grabs you and pulls you in, you don't really have the option of bowing out. Once you get obligated to the cause, do you understand what I'm saying? Just like what you were saying about martial arts. Once you were in it, you had to just let the experience take you, and you had to roll with it. And I've had some ups and downs, but you can't stop this now. If I was to die tomorrow, the madness is going to go on, and somebody else is going to make sure of it. And that's what I want. I don't want it to end with me. I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about people like you.
Well, I suspect, considering you're the comics Gandalf, you'll be back anyway. So
the white version.
My grandson has already told me that he's taking this over when when it's his turn, right? But yes, comics Gandalf is a thing.
when I heard that, I knew I've been heading in the right direction. But Pops, can I suggest that you click over to one of the art pages, because I know Kurtis has been very circumspect, but he's got some beautiful pieces to show.
Thank you. Yeah. So and as we kind of look through this art, just to kind of touch upon what you were just saying, Pops, was when you have that moment where you're so enamored with something that you're committed to it without even thinking about it, it's just part of who you are. I always say, and this is how I feel about martial arts and kung fu, you become the conduit for something bigger than yourself, right?
Right.
And so we, when we talk about martial arts, it's about empowerment and getting stronger. And the problem is, in a lot of people, when they start to amass some type of ability or strength, they think that they are the power. They think they're the things that's special. And that's usually when they fall, something happens, right? But really, at best, you're a conduit for power. You're just something that transfers power from one place to another. And with martial arts, we have this legacy and this lineage and all this amazing philosophy. And that's always something that I wanted to do, is to be the conduit. I got so much of it, and I try to spend my life passing it on so that it lives beyond myself and goes beyond myself, and the comic book is just another aspect of that. I'm trying to use the fact that I have this comic book background as a vehicle to transmit that knowledge to a wider audience. And so that's kind of what you're seeing here with some of this concept art and designs and promotional art for the book.
I mean, there's like a lesson to be had just in the layout of that school. You can see right there. I'm using the term incorrectly, but I'm using the general term school, because the technical term will be a kun. Yeah. But I know what that means. Kurtis knows what that means, and I'm checking the chat. I'm not sure if any of the names I see there might know what a kun is. So, Kurtis, what's a kun?
Kun is, oftentimes you'll hear the word dojo when you talk about martial arts school. And it's kind of confusing because I myself am half Japanese, but I do Chinese martial arts. And in Chinese martial arts, it's called a gun or a mogun, which means a martial hall. It's the hall.
We actually have usually a pretty regular guy in the chat named Dojo Kun Comics.
Oh, nice.
He does comics called comic called Siamese, a comic called Toro Tales.
Nice.
So don't be surprised if he sees this and he's like,
yeah,
you'll meet Mr. Menard, trust me.
Well, I mean, that's exactly why we're doing the Comics Fu show, to have a place where we can, like it's like a place where we can all gather and talk about things like Shadow Ghost, right? It's like these projects that are driven by the passion. So, and you can see that in all of that, the detail, the fact that the layout of that school is a legit layout, right? The tools that you can see there, even though they're like, little squares, I know what those tools are being used for, because I've laid out the magazine ads advertising those things.
Definitely. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah.
But the fact that Kurtis put them into the comic, right? That's next level. That's like showing the lessons, right? Don't show, don't tell,
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, and it kind of started out, I come from a video game background too, and so we always kind of share what we're doing in video games as it develops, and that's kind of why I started to release this information about Shadow Ghost well ahead of the campaign, and it's kind of built up its own momentum. In fact, Patrick created some artwork for it, and we even got a music video with the Shadow Ghost theme to it, because an independent recording artist by the name of Capitan Wallace saw these posts and wanted to make a song and a music video based on it. So it's just kind of funny how things kind of go that way,
And it just shows the deep roots.
Yeah, dude. And on the far right that's Patrick's contribution. That was just before the music video came out, and that's his drawing of Shadow Ghost. To the right of that one.
One more click over there.
There's Patrick's illustration, and nice. They're just magnificent.
And what I loved is that it was a chance to do it in a style that's very different than the style that I'm using for my own comic, A Tiger's Tale, since I'm trying to reach out to young readers, but I trust that with Curtis's comic, I can be a little more bold and in my action and in the drawing. You tell me, Curtis, how'd I do?
You did great. It was gritty, and I think my first thing says, "Oh my gosh!" It reminds me of like Power Man and Iron Fist cover or a Daredevil cover from the glory days. So you did a great job. Excellent. And yeah, and then you can see on the side there, those are the character designs. Like I said, they come from video game background, so it's all about kind of having like really pristine concept art and design and kind of thinking everything out really thoroughly before you go into production. So that's kind of what you're seeing over there.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this one. You got to make sure you're definitely with us so we can be there when you launch this one, man.
Oh, I'd be happy to. We're well into the pencil inking lettering is moving along, and then coloring. So I'll definitely let you know and let everybody know when we're good to go.
I was lucky because I got to see some of the pages, the finished pages, because we're putting together the comics through Reader, and you look at all of these pristine character designs, and it's just so satisfying to see them. But wait until you see the action. Wait until the kicks start flying and the punches get thrown. Right then, it's a whole other level. So
that's what I was going to say. I'm going to have plenty of faith that you know how a throw and a landing actually look, as opposed to.
But definitely, it's even the format is kind of for the book, and thanks to I think it was Abominable Grizzly for that nice comment. Yeah, the action is really kind of based on my experience with martial arts and the logic behind it, and how those things kind of coincide. And even the format of the book is made so that it'll be more so that you can see the context of different techniques as opposed to just huge splash pages where you see one movement.
Right.
Because I want people to actually see how this kick lands and how this punch moves and all those kind of things. And each character has their own style based on real kung fu system and things like that. So that's kind of my the draw.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Jiu-Jitsu Master did the art in Thin Blue Line for Mike Baron, and you can tell in the training scenes, it's like training scenes for police officers training in jiu-jitsu, and you can tell this guy knows what he's drawing. It's like you can tell this is something he's been on both sides of. He knows how it feels to throw somebody like that and how to land after being thrown like that. You see what I'm saying? Something he's experienced. So he knew what he was drawing, and it really comes out in those panels. It's not just, and the guy landed over there. It's like it's forcefully driven into the ground, and you see it that way, and it's like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to look.
Definitely.
So I love that kind of stuff, man.
Well, this is the thing that really excites me, because I've laid out hundreds and hundreds of magazine articles specifically about like martial arts.
Right.
Attacker does this, A, B, C. Or this is what differentiates one style of martial art for another, right? All very much to teach the reader, as clearly as possible. But then now, Kurtis and I can talk about like Kurtis has been over to the magazine studios, right? And so we've been in part of photo shoots together, but we were on the clock, so we couldn't just like sit in the corner and talk comics the whole time. We had to get things done. But so now that's what the Comics Foo show is for. Like we can talk about the comics and really get into the minutia of like what comics does and how comics can be used to convey these kung fu concepts, and like the one thing I think about is like not just like action, but like space and time, right? And the difference between timing, and that's something that comics does that you can't, like in a movie, time just goes in one direction, but with a comic, right, time can be split up in all sorts of ways depending on how you want to set up your panels, and people can still go back and forth and flip things around. So there are these things that you can do in kung fu, and then when you see like the master doing it in real time, you kind of get a sense of it, and then when he explains why that works, then cool, that's the Keanu Reeves moment. I know kung fu.
Now you guys have this comics food show too. Y'all go subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna spend tomorrow looking at this because I ain't got no work tomorrow.
Oh, good.
All I got tomorrow is some D&D and yeah, it's perfect, man. There you go. Abo just went over there and subscribed.
That's awesome.
We're gonna build that channel too. We're gonna get you up to 100 subscribers so that you can get yourself the Comics Food Show label there.
Yeah,
so it ain't all that jumble of letters and numbers that nobody knows. What the heck is that? We all go through that in the beginning. You get to 100, and then you get to brand yourself. You get to put whatever you want as a title for your address on your URL. See, so
that'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, the Comics Food Show has been such a fun thing, Curtis, don't you think? I mean, you just delivered our latest highlights, so.
Yeah. We started out. We were talking about conventions. Patrick came to me and he said, "Hey, we should do a panel, but I don't know if there's any conventions right now that are live." And I said, "Well, why wait?" I said, "DC's doing fandom. Let's do our panel online." And we did the first episode, and it was just supposed to be a one shot, and it just had such momentum that we kept going with it. And now we have guests on. Like recently, we had Brad Graber, who's the head of the animation studio Powerhouse Animation, who does Masters of the Universe, Castlevania, Seis Manos, all these shows. And he came on. He's a kung fu practitioner, an avid kung fu practitioner. So we got the head of this animation studio to come on with us and talk about his experience with Kevin Smith and doing martial arts. Not Kevin Smith doing martial arts. Kevin Smith and martial arts. And it was really good. Really good.
Now, there's an admin in the Madness named Christy Shin. And she's the president of CAPS.
Okay.
And she lives out there in LA. And they're having a show real soon called Asian Invasion.
Oh, really?
And it's all, people from, Asian descent at this con. And it's a pretty awesome show she's putting together. You might,
cool.
Talk to her,
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
She's real easy to talk to. She has a book called Demon Bitch.
Oh, that's a great name. That's a great name.
So she's pretty, let's say legit, straight up. No, there's no candy coating on this lady. I love her to death. She will cut you. She will cut you.
My guard up.
With the pencil. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, she's amazing, and she is putting together that con out there. So you guys might want to get with her and check that out. See if you can get involved in that.
Great. Thank you.
She's an artist. You're an artist. She gets it. She's done gallery art, all that. So, you guys would hit it off as it is without, just mutual respect on what y'all do, But good people. Somebody else. I myself am going to be at this one this weekend, Hall of Heroes in Northern Indiana. It will be my first con of the year. And all I'm going to do is walk around and interview people on the floor, dude.
Hey, that's great.
It's going to be a great time. It's about time.
Well, I did 3 last year, and I'm, probably won't do but 3 or 4 this year, just stuff that's local. But, it's like I get to go as press representing my network, and I get to interview all the artists and everybody right there on the floor at their table, so you can see their setup, and we're showing it live on the channel here and in the group and on my Twitter feed. We make sure that everybody sees everything that we just try and get eyes on, man. That's my goal for all you guys. So even when I just go, I went to 3 of these doing it as a press representative, and I spent the last 10 minutes there running around trying to find stuff to buy because I spent all day. all day working. There's so many cool people to talk to, and by the time you don't realize it, oh crap, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You're running around trying to buy the cool stuff that you saw during the day, because you don't want to carry around a bunch of stuff while you're doing interviews. It's like, but man,
I used to call that the Sunday afternoon sprint.
Yes, exactly. The Sunday afternoon sprint. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, man. When are you planning on launching this? Do you know?
Well, I would like to think probably sometime in the next 6 to 7 months. I'm kind of, in the full swing of things on the book right now. So I'm hoping around then it should be done, and then start building up the campaign, and then probably get moving. I'd say about 6 to 7 months or so. This year, definitely. This year.
I would say 2 months before you're ready to launch it, come out and start talking about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, come out and start talking about it. I mean, it's not like we're going to stop now. We know about it, but you know what I'm saying? When it's time, when you've picked a date, come out and start talking about it right away. Set up a sign-up page for an email list. Do all that.
Okay. Yeah.
One other thing I got to throw at you guys, because it's something I believe in.
Sure.
Comic books for kids.
Yeah, I've heard you talking about this on the show. Yeah.
Yes. I encourage people to set up a tier where somebody can buy your book and also send one to a hospital for kids at the hospitals. Now, that because of the way things are now, they're very ergonomical, and one person gets one book. It's not like they get passed around the hospital anymore like they used to. So they deal in pretty large quantities. But we encourage everybody to be involved in this. Send, if you can't set up a tier directly for a comic because it's not necessarily for kids, they also have a comic books for troops.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So I mean, either way, it's a way to help people that normally can't get their hands on comics, and especially like the kids in the school, in the hospitals. Anything that escapism, isn't that what comics are about? They escape their momentary problem, that bed they're laying in. All of a sudden, they're on planet whatever, hanging out with superhero whoever, and it's a whole different world. And even if it's only an hour that it takes them away from that bed, that's an hour, bro. So I'm a huge supporter of the comicbooksforkids.org, and the Madness is 100% behind me on that. They just auctions, they do all kinds of stuff. The people in the group do all kinds of stuff for those guys, and we love it. Yeah.
Great.
Throw that out there, man.
I love it. I mean, I think we all have memories of that pile of comics that were dropped off at our bedside when we were young, from one illness or another. So that buddy system is essential.
Yes.
And Stephanie can tell you all about it.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I'm assuming Stephanie is somebody that knows you guys well.
Yes, Stephanie's Kickstarter was amazing, an amazing piece in and of itself. She called it Zine 100, and it happened over the month of January, and it was it was based on rather than comics, it was based on zines that were like educational for the sake of helping communities know how to work with nonprofits in a way that creates greater benefits for all. So it was comics, but it was also comics for the public benefit. So she's someone that you should definitely have on as a guest, because she's gotten pieces in a variety of
I was going to say, if you look down there, you'll see Mark Weiss, president and founder. His phone number's there. He's not shy about talking to people about what they do at Comic Books for Kids. I think him and Stephanie need to talk. I mean, I love when people bounce ideas off each other.
She had a moving story in last year's anthology COVID Chronicles, and she works within the medical field as well. So it was like it's one of those things where comics are once again doing more than just entertaining.
There you go. Now, little known fact. My name's Patrick too.
Yes, excellent.
There you go. Little known fact.
A fine Irish name, I've been told.
Yeah, or something. I don't know how much Irish there is. I'm pretty 57. I don't know. As far as I know, I don't know. I didn't barely know my dad and mom's.
Well, I like to think that like wasn't Achilles his sidekick was named Patricus, I think.
Yeah. I think Patroclus.
Right. So he's like the original Robin, you know?
Yeah. Why'd you have to do that to me? I'd rather be Bucky. He turned out.
Well, yeah. I mean, they both die, right?
You guys are great, man. Thanks so much for coming out, man. We're definitely going to do this again when Shadow Ghost launches.
Thank you.
We know we will do a launch party, and everybody will know who you guys are by then. Trust me.
Thank you.
That sounds fantastic.
It just seems like you guys have a circle that my circle needs to bounce off too. So, any other comic creators you know that aren't part of the Madness, it's not an exclusive group, bro.
That sounds great. I'm very. I mean, if anything, this campaign in particular has taught me, as well as like the surrounding year, is the essentialness of like a community. You know, one that expands.
Roland was our brother.
Hey, man, what's up?
What I'm talking about. See, this is where our circles bounce right there. See,
there you go.
You see what I'm saying? I've known Roland for a couple of years now. You know, it's a shame that I'm just now meeting you guys, Roland. But you know,
just a quick note on Roland. I've known Roland since I was 16 or 15 years old. I'm 44 now, so I've been, so it's been a minute. And I read his Cat and Mouse comic book. He probably is tired of hearing me say this. I read his Cat and Mouse comic book as a kid in Hawaii. And then I was in LA. I got my internship at Malibu Comics. And after the first or second week, they said, the new editor's coming in. You're going to be his assistant. And his name is Roland Mann. And I thought, because Cat and Mouse was all about ninjas, I thought it was going to be another Asian person. And in came Roland with his, at that time, he had a mullet, or as we call it, the Kentucky waterfall. And I was just completely shocked that that's who wrote this amazing Yakuza ninja comic book, but he was one of the best mentors to work under back then and now, and so always have love for Roland. So Roland's awesome,
and still with impeccable timing too. And,
yes, exactly it. I think he was waiting with his finger on the trigger just at the right timing.
The time to strike is now.
That was perfect. I actually have somebody in my inbox right now that asked me, do you do promotions for existing books?
Well, that being said, Silverline, we do have another Kickstarter coming up soon, and it's going to be I believe it's Sirens, which is one of our Remix books, and we're also going to have Wolf Hunter, which is a World War II alternate history espionage book. Kentucky.
Now, I want to tell you how I responded to that guy. I sent him the link to this show.
There you go.
Obviously, I promote comic books. This is what I do. If you're watching, hi, Josh. What's up, man? Can I say, yeah, this is what we do. We promote people's comics. This one, like I said, and like Roland said, I'm sure Shadow Ghost is going to rock.
Thank you. And if anybody wants to stay updated on it, if you go to the website, theshadowghost.com, I actually have a sign-up page if you want to sign up for forthcoming newsletters and things like that, emails.
Yep, I did that. Right there. See? Oh,
right there. Yeah.
I signed up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I think Kurtis and I share a similar philosophy in that we want to have people knowing stuff, ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely. quite a bit ahead of
It
time.
wouldn't be my show if I didn't kick myself off at least once.
I was like,
I thought that was for dramatic effect.
yeah.
I'm a boomer. Like I said, when I started doing this, I didn't know nothing about none of StreamYard or nothing, man. It's like I came out, everything has been trial by error and learn as you go. And yeah, sometimes I blow it.
That's okay. It's live television, right? This is live
We're redefining the term pulpy with each one of these, so I'm all for it.
It's kind of funny because I've been doing it for 2 years now, and you'd think I'd have learned by now not to hit the back button when I'm in the StreamYard, right? You'd think by now I'd have learned not to do that.
Sometimes the button wants to be pressed anyway.
Yeah, it's like, come on, comedic relief, take yourself out, man. No, that's not why I do it. Trust me. So yeah, I just signed up. What do we got over here under Kung Fu?
Oh, so this is talking about the different type of Kung Fu systems that will be reflected in the comic book. So I've actually paired the specific Kung Fu style with kind of the persona of each character. The more aggressive styles may go towards the villain, and the more defensive styles may go towards some of the heroic characters. But these are all real, authentic Kung Fu styles that I myself personally know and teach, and they'll be implemented within the comic book. So this is just kind of a taste of the different kind of styles and fighting philosophies that you'll see in it. And so that was kind of the thing when I was putting it together is, what makes it unique? There's tons of great pencilers and artists out there and comic book creators. And the one thing I realized that set me apart is, of course, I have this Kung Fu background,
Okay, which style do you prefer?
My main style is the one on the far left there called Hongakyun, and that's a very famous Southern Kung Fu style. It's known as the Tiger Crane style. And if you watch older Kung Fu movies like the 36 Chamber of Shaolin and things like that, that would be the predominant style in that. And if you're familiar with the modern cartoon of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the earthbending style is based on that Kung Fu system, is that choreography. So that's
mine. I'm sure everybody recognizes that the praying mantis fist.
Yes, that's one of the most unique ones. It's such a great system. I learned that later in my martial arts career, but it's just so iconic,
We were just having a discussion just last night about praying mantis kung fu, because this is, we can't help but to just go off into these little deep spirals of like minutia about, if it's not this specific philosophy, it's some of the origin story behind some of the luminaries that we know or know of. It's so much fun, and it's also such an inspiration. So to know that this stuff is going on behind every comic page, makes it, just takes it to another level. It's not just about the comics, it's about the stuff going on behind it.
Yeah, and look, comics are supposed to educate too.
Yeah.
Okay. Not necessarily lead you by the nose, but offer you tidbits of knowledge to gain wisdom from. I mean, there's so much I learned from comics that I wouldn't have ever had a reason to want to go learn about if I hadn't seen it in a comic book, and then later on in life saw it somewhere else and went, oh, I remember that from a comic. And then you might want to look into that and figure out what that was really about, but it was in a comic story 30 years or 40 years ago that you read and it stuck to you. I was a mythology nerd before I was a comic nerd. And seeing Thor on the cover of a comic turned me into a comic nerd too. You see what I'm saying? It's like it dragged me completely out of the I'm above comics, I'm into mythology. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute, that's Thor. Hey, Mom, we buy this? You remember back, I don't know, you might not remember. Patrick might remember. Spinner racks at the end of the supermarket checkout line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I learned how to read because I had access to my older brother's box of comics. I had more of those than I had children's books. So that was just something. I mean, it was great until I tried to draw in them to figure out how to draw. Then
Brother
you
didn't
might
let
say
you
that
mess
was
with
my
his
first
comics no
exposure to
more.
martial arts, right?
You,
But
brother didn't let you mess with the comics no more, did he?
I quickly learned that okay, I had to save up my allowance to get my own. And then so I was reading comics first, and then when I started reading books that were without pictures, they were Greek mythology. So I went from comics straight to mythology.
You see, I'm
And
the
now
other
I'm back to comics.
Yeah, I have 4 grandkids, all just munchkin age. You know, fourth grade and fourth grade down to kindergarten or fifth grade down to kindergarten, and I get a lot of the comics that I do get when I can afford to are the ones that are directed toward the kids because I want them to be interested. I want a next generation of comic fans. You guys got nothing to do if the next generation ain't around buying your stuff, right? We won't have a next generation of artists. We won't have a next generation of kung fu fans, right? We have to
Yeah.
keep putting this in front of the kids. So I, like I said, a lot of the books I get are for the kids, and I get to read them first. Obviously, they're mine.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great that comics are for kids again. There was a time period there where, comics were only for a certain kind of reader, but now it's we're facing a time when comics are just every kind of reader has a comic available for them. If they want something very mature and challenging, there are comics for that. But if it's a young reader who's just learning how to read, there are
Yep.
comics for that now. And those comics are booming. People, they want more.
That's Jesse Miles in the chat. Jesse Miles said his first
Yes.
comics were taken right off the spinner racks. Yeah, mine were too. But actually, mine was Defenders #10. It was Thor and Hulk fighting on the cover of Defenders #10. And the sad part of that was it was the next to last book in the Avengers Defenders crossover.
Mm.
And I had to go find all the back issues. And they didn't have stores that had dollar bin boxes back then. You went from spinner rack to spinner rack, looking through every book in the back, the crushed up ones and everything, trying to find the whole story. And eventually I did. I went to like 8 stores before I found all the books of that story because there's like 9 or 10 books in the crossover. It would go from Defenders to Avengers, back to Defenders, back to Avengers, back to Defenders for like 9 issues or something.
That was Stephen Englehart wrote that, didn't he?
Oh, I love that story, dude. The Evil Eye Man.
Classic.
It's really like the first true crossover, right? It really is, where 2 titles totally crossed back and forth. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, and I think it was just at a time when they had the Marvel universe, but this was like really taking that and trying to bring it to the next level.
Yeah, they had these 2 super teams. It's like they couldn't, Fantastic Four and Avengers always teamed up together, so they couldn't put them at odds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not very well. But yeah, the Defenders were a totally different unknown quantity, and they could easily pit the, Loki set it up perfectly, right? What can you say?
Right, because if I remember correctly, they all still thought that they were the good guys in their particular missions, but still at odds, and
Yeah, it was great, good story, and that of course triggered my life in comics. That was it right there. And you take 2 of the big super teams in Marvel and you throw them at a kid who's never read comics before, you're probably going to come out with a comics fan. I mean, there was too many cool heroes there to get behind, on both sides, right? I mean, I'm a Thor fan, so I like the Avengers, right? But at the same time, dude, the Defenders was a pretty cool group. Doctor Strange, Submariner, and that was a pretty cool group. So
it was a real Rolling Stones, Beatles situation.
A really good comparison.
I'll go with that. Hey, man, you guys are great to talk to. We're definitely going to hang out more. I promise you.
Definitely.
I do know a few people in my circle in the madness and stuff that are also, highly into the martial arts. So we might put together a comic martial art panel for.
That'd be
That's
great.
exactly what we've been striving for, and just like there's so many, right? That crossover goes much deeper than any of us might have imagined, and here we all are.
I know quite a few people that would, definitely fit into a martial arts comics panel. I think we might, let's see, March 26th, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, CromCon. I think we're going to do the 9 p.m. panel will be a martial arts comic crossover. What do you think, guys?
I think I'll double check my schedule, but I think that sounds like a plan for me. Definitely.
I think, you know what? I could not think of anything before up until this Kickstarter campaign. And now that it's done, it's like open season for things like this. So
Yeah.
I'll say yes now and check my calendar later.
Well, I think I'm going to make that the panel. So
I'm
you
going
guys are both invited. But I got to write that down right now, or I'll forget about it by morning.
I'm going to do the same because my wife and I have a shared online calendar, and whoever puts something in first gets reservation rights. And I do see she didn't put anything yet. So that, along with this video, will prove that I put it in first. So
cool.
You said
26th of March, and that is the day after we're launching the Enter the Cromniverse anthology too. So just throwing that out there, everybody.
Very good.
But yeah, the 9 p.m. Eastern panel. Dark Gift, Jim O'Reilly, Manny Soto, all you guys are invited, man. I think we have a good time. I really do.
All right, it's official, and I'll be there as well.
It sounds like a blast.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Most excellent. Is there anything else you guys wanted to cover before we?
Yeah, just for these for me on my end, like we're saying, check out and follow Shadow Ghost. We're on social media all over the place, but the website's the best place because you can find everything from there.
Right.
And also, like I said, I'm part of Silverline. So Silverline, we have our weekly shows. I'm on the Sunday show, so you're welcome to check me out there and. Keep an eye out for this upcoming Silverline Kickstarter. It's for Wolf Hunter and for Sirens. It's going to be really cool. So.
Yes. Roland, don't forget, you need to come out, promote the books. Sometimes I got to nudge Roland. It's like, hey, yo, don't you got something for me? Don't you got something to show my people?
I'm sure he's taking out, we got 22 books already in the bag, like we're planning for Silverline. So he's always just spinning plates, but I'm sure he'd be very happy with that.
Oh yeah, we have a good time when he comes out. Another guy that does some work for him that is a good friend of ours, Phil Leon, colorist. So we have some mutual connection there for sure. Oh yes, I want to look at that again. Oh.
So I just want to invite people to check out atigerstail.com. I'm writing this upside down, so forgive me if things come out weird. Whoa, that S is gonna be hard. I don't know if I pulled that off. Oh, I did it backwards.
Yeah, you did. That's
okay. Artistic choice.
That makes it special.
Yes.
So atigerstail.com, not too bad for upside down and backwards.
That's awesome.
No, you did a real good job. That's perfect.
So there's a bunch of articles. There's a bunch of preview pages from the actual graphic novel before they were colored. There'll be a bunch of behind the scenes stuff. I've been adding to it regularly, and I'm going to continue adding to that website over the course of the year. Because it's going to be more than just A Tiger's Tale, the graphic novel. It's going to be the year of A Tiger's Tale. So I invite folks to come and subscribe there and get regular Tiger Tuesday updates. And it'll be a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, like this, the artwork that I'm working on. There'll be digital versions and then interviews, like the kind of stuff Curtis and I love to do, getting all philosophical about martial arts.
There are a couple things I'm going to run into, though. There's going to be people that watch this video tomorrow and the next day, and they're going to be, hey, man, can I still get that book? After you fulfill the Kickstarter, will there be a way for people to still get the book?
Definitely. There's plans in the works to make it. The Kickstarter's success has really shown that there's a desire for this project to be out there. So now that we're in a position to do so, right, the Kickstarter backers are definitely going to be treated right. They're going to get a bunch of special stuff. I've already got a few extra stuff that I can't really talk about, but that's going to go in there.
That's excellent. I just asked for my own personal, like I said, right now I don't necessarily have the money. I sent y'all a red envelope, but next month I might have some money.
There'll be, like here's one of the stickers that
let me see
that we had printed up.
Great, that's gorgeous.
Right, so there's going to be plenty of this kind of stuff where I have a lot of that. So there's definitely, so part of the thing is going to be to have that stuff available for folks who want to reach out and be a part of what I do as an artist.
I'm just saying there's going to come a time when I do have a little extra money and I'm going to want the freaking book. That's what I'm saying.
So there's that. That's going to be true. But I like to do a lot of, like Curtis will know, for the folks who are subscribers to my newsletter, I do like little free exclusive web comics, and I send lots of random little tidbits out. So, I have this, I'm a staunch follower of the philosophy that art needs to be out there, right? Like art isn't art unless it's in the hands of other people to engage with.
Right.
So, there's stuff that I want out there, and I invite people to join me.
What's up, Milo?
What's up, Milo?
Hey, how's it going?
Milo, are you going to be at Hall of Heroes this weekend? I met Milo on the Florida Con. On the floor. I never knew him before. I met him. I bought some of his ash cans. Really cool guy. That's why I go walk the floors. Not everybody uses social media.
Yeah.
And like the guys who do the con circuit, like they're always doing a con. They don't have time to come out here. They're traveling. They're setting up their show. They're doing their show. They're going home, spend a little time with their family, and they're traveling again. They don't have time for the internet thing, So when I'm out there on the floor and I'm meeting new people, and I'm like, hey man, you need to know about what we do because we promote you guys. Well, that's how I met Milo. So, like I said, it's just bouncing all the different fan bases off each other, and eventually, hopefully the madness brings the hub together for everybody. Whether it's people doing shows, like YouTube shows, promotional shows, like all the different people you've seen in the chat tonight that all have their own shows. That's the other thing. I try to make sure everybody knows. Comic book creators know all the different shows they can be on. Yeah. That's why I post them all in the madness. All those people are approachable. They're all like, yeah, come on out of my show. They all need content. So it's a great place to find shows to be on. And if you're like me, it's a great place to find content because there's a whole bunch of creators there too.
It's like we say, rising tide raises all boats, right? So
yes, it does. It really does. We all put in the work, and hopefully everybody gets to be successful. I think you saw the first sentence of the mission statement of the madness. We want you all to be successful.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of everything that we're doing, everything I'm doing, all my co-hosts, all the people that help me make graphics like the one, that you guys see behind right there that says Madness Comic Network. Simon Potier did that for me. There's everybody everybody pitches in. They help me. They make my videos. They do all this stuff, man. I don't know how to do any of that crap. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not an artist. I'm not. You know.
Curtis, let me ask. Can you take a guess at what the type font is for the Madness Comic Network?
Oh, I've seen it before, and I've used it before. I just can't remember offhand the specific name, but I'm sure you do. What would you say?
I'm gonna go with show card. That's gonna be my guess. But hopefully someone there will check me. But that's gonna be my guess.
I really don't know because I didn't make it, but but it reminds me of like what the kind of sign you'd see above an old saloon.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, well, you say you're not an artist, but it takes a lot of artistry and know how to bring people together. That's a very special skill that I don't think people get enough credit for. And obviously, you have that in spades, so you shouldn't cut yourself short in that regard. That's a form of artistry to that.
I can't even say I'm not an artist. I'm not a good artist. How's that? Is that better?
I would call it communication kung fu. How about that?
I'll give you a little taste. Check it out, guys. There you go.
Nice.
I
like that. I love the hat on that and the expression.
We did a draw. We have a Sunday afternoon open draw stream where people can just come out and draw. And it was Christmas time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to draw with everybody else. So I had no inspiration of anything to draw. And I was looking at myself on the screen, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll just draw myself. I draw a little bit, but I don't draw as a profession or try to make money off it or anything like that. I know so many people are so much better than I am. I wouldn't even deign to step foot in that arena. You know what I mean?
That's Curtis. He just threw another martial arts metaphor at us. Can you believe it? There's always somebody better.
Yeah, there is.
Everybody's better. That's what I was saying.
I always say in martial arts, if you're looking for somebody better than you, you'll find them.
let me show you guys what I look at all day long. All right. I look at stuff like that.
I like that. Nice.
All day. Oh, there's me. Look, there's me.
Oh, that's a nice one. Who did that one?
John R. Smith. He's in the Madness.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Marseille Phillips did that.
Oh.
We got Sean Howe and Gary Phillips, and let's see. Oh man, I forget who that was. There's too many people on my wall, man. Gary Parkin, Adam Smith, Jim O'Reilly, Jonathan Brooks. Oh, that was Mauricio Alonso, Michael Leon, Marv Art. We got original page from the Incantessi by Rich Parada, my co-host on Monday Madness. Ernest McClendon, Osmosis. Oh, those two way up there in the top.
Wow, look at that.
I did those. Those two way up there in the top. I did those.
Nicely done.
Can I see that you're a big Electra fan? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes. She lives on the wall more than anybody else.
Yeah, she's great character.
But I look at all this amazing art all day long, and then I look at the crap I draw. It's like, it don't even belong on the wall with that stuff, man.
You shouldn't feel that way. I told the story. I did some work in Hollywood and doing concept art, film stuff. And one person there I was talking to was this comedian, Eddie Griffin. He was one of the guys in the film, and he was saying, if you take the time to draw the art, it's because you want to share your thoughts with other people. The picture already looks perfect in your head, in your mind. So there's no reason to commit it to paper unless you're going to share it with people. So, same thing for you. There's a calling, right? While you're transmitting it into that format.
Well, for me, the first time I drew the Electra, it was because I wanted to experience what you guys do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you see, I've done living out here in San Francisco. I've part of my career has been to do interactive art installations at like events and the like, and where it would not just be me painting, but it would be me facilitating like a whole table of people painting together.
Right.
And it's like the one guiding principle that I've always had with me is that art is an experience, right? Like you have a byproduct, you have a piece that's left over, but the art is what happens in the moment when you're creating. And so it doesn't have to, you don't necessarily have to worry about the end result and how good it is, or if you've achieved some ideal of perfection. The goal is to have that sense of flow, and to tap into that creative spirit, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I don't get the inspiration to draw all the time. Okay. But when it gets me, it's like I can't set it down. I have to finish it. And then you get to that point where after you think you're done and you start seeing the flaws and you want to go back and fix it. See, for me, it was like I wanted to experience what you guys experience with your art. And I got to that point and it was like, man, I'm going to mess this thing up. Just put it in a frame and leave it alone. It's like,
But that's the thing, right? Is when you should step away. There's a calling, like you fall in love. You start to fall in love so much with the process that it's hard to let go and back off. And it's that restraint, right? Restraint. Once you can do everything, it's choosing what not to do.
yeah. And I'm a Virgo, so I have a little bit of that perfectionist crap up all up in me, so that makes it harder. I really feel sorry for Virgo artists. I really do.
We should have an anthology of just Virgo artists. It'll take a couple of years for the anthology to come out.
Yeah, they'd have to be perfect. Everything would have to be perfect.
It would be a perfect book.
Yeah, you guys are great. I'm looking forward to this panel. I will get some other people out here that are people you guys will definitely be able to match stories to, and you know what I mean. It'll be awesome, and y'all have great comics too. So
thank you. Thanks for having us, and it's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet everybody in the chat, and great times. Thanks.
I couldn't have imagined a better ending to this campaign that has been just so full of surprises, Pop. So the chance to end it here with you is just amazing. And then the fact that, hey, now we know each other and there are things happening in the future is just, proof that I'm on the right track, that we're all kind of on the right track.
See, this is one of my guys right here. Jim, March 26th, 9 p.m., martial arts / comics panel. I expect you to be there, bro. Right? That's one of my guys right there. So definitely, man. It was great talking to you. So glad I got to meet you guys. Roland, don't be hiding the artist no more.
Well, we've both been up in our little respective mountain retreats perfecting our craft, and so now we've come down the hill to mix it up.
Well, he does know, though. He should have got a hold of me about a month ago about this one. You see what I'm saying? So, Roland, you know what to do, man. Just shoot me a link, private message. Anytime one of your people's getting ready to launch something, you gotta let me know, bro. But other than that, I love him. He's good, dude. See, I can only speak on ninja related art.
Oh, I have some ninja secrets I'd love to blab, but then they wouldn't be ninja secrets, would they?
Yeah, I think it would be a very interesting panel, man. I have a few other people in mind for it, so definitely going to look forward to that one. Yeah, good stuff. Good. You know what's up. Hit me up. You guys have a great evening. Thank you so much for coming hanging out with me.
This has been great, Pops.
I'm honored that you spent the last half hour of your campaign with me. So anytime you want to hang out, you just let me know. I will make time for you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Great to meet you. Great to meet everybody. And we'll see you.
Yes. So glad to see so many new faces. I mean, names.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I said, there's more. This Thursday night is pretty, or Wednesday and Thursday nights are pretty packed out on YouTube. But we get a lot of replay views. That's what I was talking about. There's going to be people in my inbox going, "Hey, why didn't we hear about this one before? Are we still going to be able to get a hold of that book?" You see what I'm saying? Because there's going to
Well, I better get cracking on volume 2, you know.
Well, I'm saying there's going to be some of us that's still going to want volume 1. And I'm looking forward to those messages because then I can tell them, yeah, man, don't worry, they'll be able to hook you up to get this campaign fulfilled, and then I'm sure that
Exactly.
will be available on the website. Yep.
I'm all about making things happen, you know.
Cool. All right, it's gonna be hard to say. You just got to go, or I'm going to talk to you on that.
Have a good night. It's late out on your end, so
I'm gonna play a bunch of commercials. You guys have a great night, man.
All right, thanks. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Yes.
Peace. Here we go. Commercials. Where they at? I got some. Let's see. We'll start with that one.
When they mined an area, they put down yellow tape right across that line, see. And if you walked on the wrong side of that yellow tape, you blew up.
Strange Tales 136. I remember it very clearly, and that was my first exposure to Kirby. And I wanted to show it to people.
That one's live right now, by the way. It's not coming soon, so you can go get that right now on that Jack Kirby on Indiegogo. The Jack Kirby DVD and book. I happen to have it. I got to watch it already. You guys don't even know. It's Jack freaking Kirby, man. Go check it out. I'm telling you.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
In a world ravaged by monsters, a new evil has risen, poisoning the land and threatening humanity. Now, the Monster Matador, along with the meanest and baddest kaiju killers, have joined forces to kick its ass. Monster Matador, Afropocalypse.
Sunsworn Wings of Vengeance is funding now on Indiegogo. Don't miss this action-packed space fantasy adventure sure to rekindle your love for the genre. Get it now on Indiegogo or just go to sunsworn.com.
Secrets, trust, worth. The bond between souls intertwined within otherworldly intrigue. Michaela Jade brings forth the Elite Warrior series, a collection of dark fantasy romance novels set in a twisted world where power lusts in the hearts of men, and devotion seduces the souls of women. Warrior's Secret, Warrior's Trust, and Warrior's Worth. Available now at authormichaelajade.com.
From author Brian K. Morris comes a classic hero in a high-flying, fast-paced, and action-packed steampunk adventure. The original Skyman battles the Master of Steam with an introduction by comics icon and historian Roy Thomas. A Rising Tide, an Ace Comics publication. Available now in print or digital format on Amazon.com.
Hey, yo, Pops here. Are you looking to be on Monday Madness? Is Monday no good? Do you need a special edition? Are you looking to be on the first timer spotlight on for you new guys? Launch parties, countdowns, CromCon Monthly. We got it all right here at the Madness Comic Network, providing online promotional services for the indie comic community and proud sponsor of
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit